Welcome back to the channel, everybody. You already know, Norris, man. Hopefully you guys are good out there. I got a new album to react to. It's a new episode. But before I get into this one, I'm gonna go over some of the future music releases that I have coming up. So the new song Waldo, I have this song set for December 4th. A little bit more than a month from now, you'll be able to see that track on SoundCloud, iTunes, my YouTube channel, everywhere where I post my music. You'll be able to find that track. Once again, it's called Waldo, set for December 4th. I got a new album that I'm currently working on. I'm getting pretty close to the end of it. This one is gonna be available for next year, closer to the summertime. I'm thinking around May or June. I'll have this one available on all platforms, everywhere where I post my music. This is a 10-track album and I'm pretty close to finishing it. Plenty more content and music to come up afterwards. Subscribe to the channel. I'll keep you guys posted. For this episode, we're gonna do the new Tyler the Creator album, CHROMAKOPIA. This is a new album that he released a couple of days ago, so this one is very fresh, very new. The perfect album to do with this segment. Just like every other episode, I'm going to play a few of the tracks, give you guys a snippet, maybe like 4 tracks off the album, so you have an idea of how this one sounds like. You'll understand my critique for the album. It'll be easier for me to explain how I feel about the album. You guys have like a good understanding of how it sounds like based off those tracks. I'm gonna start talking about the album, critiquing it the best way I can based off of my knowledge of rap music, give you guys a rating at the end of the video. All of the tracks that I'm playing off of Tyler's album CHROMAKOPIA, these are all off of SoundCloud, his profile on SoundCloud. Keep that in mind. So the first song I'll play, this one's called Hey Jane.
Now in the space there is no goddamn child. Hey Jane, I'm terrified, petrified. I don't wanna get my free.
This one's called Tomorrow.
Don't you wait on me. I'll be fine.
This one's called Judge Judy. And the last track I'll play, Ratata. Tyler the Creator, his new album CHROMAKOPIA. This is a new album that he released actually yesterday. A very new album, very fresh. Tyler the Creator, very well known all around the world, out of California, very famous for his rap crew Odd Future. He's the creator of that crew, the main rapper, the leader that started that one. Ever since he started that crew with Odd Future, guys with like Earl Sweatshirt, Haji Beats, Left Brain, Domo Genesis, the list goes on. There's a lot of members part of that crew. Frank Ocean was also part of that crew. Tyler the Creator, he basically branched off and started to go solo, just like almost every other member of that crew. Everyone basically split up and continued their careers as solo artists. Earl Sweatshirt doing his thing as a solo artist, Haji Beats, Left Brain, everybody's basically a solo artist now. Odd Future was like the hub that started everything. 20 years later, you can almost say Tyler the Creator, one of the more famous names in the music world. He's really doing his thing, working with a number of other famous artists, going on world tours, performing in almost every country, racking up like millions of views off of all of his like music videos, his songs, in terms of like streams. Tyler is really doing his thing. He's put into work. He's almost considered a legend now in the rap world, especially when it comes to the production. In my opinion, I think he's one of the greatest rap producers to ever do it. In terms of producers, definitely top 10 of all time. If anything, he might be sneaking in that top 5. This guy's been doing his thing. He's been on a serious album run ever since he dropped Igor, won a bunch of awards, or he was nominated for a bunch of awards and he won a few off of that album. And ever since Igor, he's just been on a serious album run, dropping classics. We got a new album here, CHROMAKOPIA, just based off of all of the snippets he's been given on YouTube, a lot of video snippets out of nowhere too. I never really heard or seen any hints of him coming up with a new album. So like the whole mask thing, the whole weird cleverness of the snippets that he's been putting out on his like YouTube channel. It's very strange and bizarre, like coming up with a mask that resembles his actual face and then putting it on with his whole hairstyle, and just very bizarre and weird. But I mean, nothing too surprising. It is Tyler the Creator. He has a very creative way of thinking when it comes to music ideas, and the imagery that he'll attach with his music is always something new and innovative and strange. Something that you don't see a lot of other artists doing or like mimicking, maybe because of how strange it is. But I mean, it only makes it better because that's Tyler the Creator's style, and he's racking up the numbers with it too. Like, it's not like he's trying these like weird concepts and they're not getting any views. He's taking it to a whole nother level. It's really cool to see how much views that he's racking up off of something that's so bizarre and strange. With Tyler the Creator, man, I always thought he was an okay rapper. I never thought he was a good rapper, and I also never thought he was a bad rapper. I always thought it was like in between good and bad, and if anything, slightly closer to bad. Ever since his like first album, I think it was Bastard, ever since that album up until now, my opinion still never changed. Like, I still think he's like just an okay rapper, and this is more when he was younger. He tries to come up with shocking things to say. He'll try to take those things and try to turn them into rhyme schemes, into a rap flow. Anytime you hear Tyler the Creator rap, it's always about saying a bunch of like crazy shocking things to like disgust you or make you feel like uncomfortable. He just makes it rhyme basically, and it becomes controversial. And I always looked at his style like that, more so than like a clever lyricist. His production and almost everything else other than the rapping itself, A1 level, like the highest level you can think of. He could be a conductor for like an orchestra. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he had the ability to do that. He can sing also. He's gotten way better at singing over the years. When you listen to the last maybe 3 albums that he's put out, it's just the rapping that I always had an issue with. With this album, man, I feel like he heavily relied on the production for this album. There's a lot of good things going on this album. The biggest reason for that is how heavily he relies on his production, for a good reason. Like I said, he's not the best rapper, and I think a little bit of him understands that too. He raps a lot on this album. Honestly, the rapping, he kind of steps up his game with the rapping on this specific album. It might be the highest level of rapping I ever heard from Tyler the Creator compared to any album that he's put out in the past. But the production is definitely biggest highlight of this album. I've never heard production from Tyler at this level before in my life. 100% the best production I've heard from him. If you look at his discography, he's got some classics. He's won a lot of awards. He's gotten a lot of nominations for awards throughout his career. But I think the production on this album is definitely his best that I've ever heard. I'm pretty blown away by it, man. He's gotten better at producing, and I never thought that was possible. Listening to this album, it sounds like he took it a step up, man. It gives me Pharrell Williams and Kanye West vibes. This might be his classic. This might be his best album, even though he has a lot of great albums in his discography. This might be his classic based off of the production, and I think his rapping has gotten a little bit better on this album compared to his past albums, which makes the album even better. So instead of like the usual shocking, make you laugh but also make you feel uncomfortable, bizarre type of subject matter that he would bring to the table on his like past albums, he came a long way from that style of Tyler the Creator to like now. Like, you look at the last maybe 3 or 4 albums that he put out, he's a lot more mature now. It really seems like he's like bringing everything together now and starting to just come up with music. You know what I mean? He really understands music as a whole now. He understands like lyrics and songwriting. He's a lot more mature. He's older now. He's made a lot of money. He's become very successful off of the whole Odd Future brand. From like the time he started till now, a lot has changed with Tyler the Creator, and you can really hear it in the songwriting and the lyrics on this album. I think the rapping is actually pretty good, man, especially for Tyler the Creator. He actually steps up. He got a little bit better at rapping with the maturity that he's gained gained over the years. The fact that he's a lot older now and more mature. He doesn't really joke around as much. He's more serious. And when it comes to like the music making as a whole, he's like more serious and more emotional with the lyrics on here, talking about stuff that's actually happening in his life and being very sincere and real. And like, I always thought he's a good like songwriter. He's always been a good songwriter, and he always had a great music mind, very similar to Kanye West. He really is the new Kanye West when you really look at it, or the closest thing to Kanye West. 100% in terms of like just having a music mind and understanding songwriting and understanding what good music is supposed to sound like. Tyler has always been at a high level with that. The rapping on here complements the high level of production that he puts on the album. He steps up in terms of producing, and he also steps up in terms of rapping. So something that I was not expecting, man. The album sounds a lot better than I thought it was gonna sound like. It's almost like a jazz element that he puts to the album with the detailing of the beats. There is like 10 or 12 instruments going on almost every beat. You really gotta like listen to like understand what I'm saying about that, but like he really pays attention to like the detailing, and he gets really in depth in terms of like the melody to like the singing, the background vocalists. There's like so much going on every track that like you have to go back and listen to it again, and you find like a new thing that you didn't really hear the last time you heard the song. There's a lot of replay value for every song because of that. It's almost like a puzzle that you're trying to put together by every listen. So like the second listen, you find a new thing about the song, and then you listen to it the third time and there's another new thing that you didn't realize about the song. He did incredible job at adding a lot of different things to each song, harmonizing it all together so everything still sounds cohesive. Nothing stands out in a way where it makes the song sound like bad. And there's 14 tracks on this one. There isn't one song on here where I was like he probably could have left this song out, or a very well put together album as a whole. There's incredible chemistry between the name of the album and the track listing. When you compare the track listing, the name of each track, what every song is supposed to mean, and how it relates to the name of the album altogether. Yo, Tyler did his thing on this one, man. Really, he really did. In my opinion, I think it's the best album that I've heard from him out of all of the albums in his discography. In my opinion, that's what I think. I think a lot of people might like think otherwise, just because he has a lot of great albums in his discography. I can see a lot of people still thinking that Igor is his best album that he's ever put together, but this one's definitely gonna compete with it. Yeah, like not a lot of bad things I gotta say about this one, man. This is one of the best albums I've heard so far this year, and this has been a great year for rap music overall, man. A great listen. Not a lot of bad things I gotta say about the album. No business tactics going on this album. It really seems like an artist just pouring his emotions and his artistry out throughout the album, really trying to make something that music lovers are gonna really get into, and people who don't really care about music, they might like this album a lot too. He just straight up made music on this one, which I respect heavily. That part I'm not too surprised about Tyler, because this guy is like a legit musician, you know what I mean? He's not just a rapper, he's an artist, he's a musician, a real musician that can play instruments and actually make real music. That's what he did on this album, man. The only bad thing I can possibly think is that could have stepped up a bit in terms of the rapping. He's not the best rapper. Still room for improvement in that area, even though this is probably the best rapping I've heard from Tyler out of any album I've heard from him. But like, there's definitely room for improvement. There's still a level of rap skills and lyricist skills that he can get to. It's not like the features ruined the album at all. The features did what they're supposed to do. It's Tyler the Creator, so you gotta think he's probably friends and he probably knows a lot of great lyricists out there in the game. Could have got like Earl Sweatshirt to feature on this, but like besides that, this one might be his classic, man. In terms of a rating, I'm giving this one a 9.5 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10. The rapping could have been a little bit better, and I think he could have got better features to help him in terms of the rapping, but besides that, I got literally no issues. The production's incredible. Also, this might be the best produced album I've heard so far this year, outside of Big Sean's album, I think. Just the little things, the background vocalist. It's almost like he has a choir singing in the background, which I really enjoyed. A lot of fresh ideas, man. But yeah, man, 9.5 out of 10. Tyler, the Creator, man. This guy definitely did his thing. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. I really appreciate all you guys watching. Make sure you check out the new song Waldo, dropping for December 4th. Like, subscribe, like always. Appreciate you guys watching, giving me the views. Really appreciate it. More content, more music coming up in the future. That's all I gotta say for this one, man. I'm out. Peace.